What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today, we're going to talk about Shakur Stevenson and his recent appearance on The Breakfast Club. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate your feedback. All right, so at some point this week, Shakur appeared on The Breakfast Club. It's a very recent interview because it was after his fight with Yoshino, where he got a nice knockout victory in his 135-pound debut. Throughout the interview, Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy asked him questions. Number one are just about what was next for him and also about the fight in itself. He talked about feeling stronger, missing weight in the previous weight class and things like that. But some of the most important things that stuck out to me was his perspective on the boxing business and taking care of business outside of the ring. A couple of things in particular that I took note of was he talked about protecting the O and being undefeated. And while he specifically expressed that he doesn't think about losing, he doesn't let that enter his orbit or his thought process, he does understand the fact that since the Mayweather era began, fighters, especially African American or black fighters, are under a lot of pressure to be undefeated, because if they're to lose or find themselves at a disadvantage in a fight, it changes their marketability. He also mentioned guys like Ryan Garcia, Canelo Alvarez being able to overcome a loss if they have one, and they're still going to be able to be successful and be considered one of the best in the business and get better opportunities at big money fights. Whereas if you're a black fighter, there's a good chance that you're going to kind of have to take a step back and you're going to lose whatever ground you gain on your way to becoming an upper echelon fighter that was undefeated with an O. So when you look at guys like Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Devin Haney, all undefeated fighters, you could see where there might be some reluctance for them to get into a fight too soon, because as soon as you lose that O, you lose ground on them as competition. That guy's going to elevate to the next level, and because you lost to him, you're actually going to take a step back. Whereas back in the day, you could lose to another elite fighter and you still had an opportunity. Number one, in the rematch, you guys can make more money. And number two, you could fight other elite fighters and still make money at the same level. So from a business standpoint, he completely understands it. In addition to that, he understands that there's a marketing aspect to it, and making appearances on The Breakfast Club and bigging yourself up on TV definitely puts you in the public eye. And he mentioned that Ryan Garcia is in the biggest fight of his life, mostly because of his social media prowess, not necessarily because of his talent. He even made a pick in the fight and said he thinks Tank's going to knock Ryan Garcia out, and it's because he's just a better fighter and they're in different classes in terms of skills. I tend to agree with what he's saying right there. He also talked about Jay Prince and his role in his career, and that he's been one of his greatest supporters and he treats him like a son, and he has a high level of respect for him. I mean, he used the phrase, Jay Prince is a real N-word, but what that means to me is that he sees the way that this person takes care of him and looks out for him, and the level of reverence and respect that he has for him, that he knows he stands on business. In addition to that, he talked about wanting to get a knockout in his last fight, and basically he was asking the ref for more time to inflict more punishment. He even reflected on losing weight and talking about how just the changes with his body kind of put him in a position he just couldn't get down off the weight. He said he was feeling, dehydrated, so he couldn't even pee just to get down to the weight limit for 130. So naturally, it was time for him to move up. And for this camp, he felt better than ever. So he's ready to make some noise at 135. When they were asking him about, who's next, what's going on with him and Devin, he kind of cleaned up what he said after the fight. Obviously, when you talk to fighters, when there's a lot of emotions running in the ring, sometimes you're going to get responses that are just based in the moment. I think given time to process what was going on, he stepped back and said while he's gotten the best of Devin, he does believe that if they were to fight again, they both improved. So he probably feels that Devin has more confidence in himself. Obviously, Shakur feels more confidence in himself because they were kids the last time they shared a ring. So in his opinion, it's a good fight. He also expressed that the money is in fighting Gervonta Davis, but the legacy, aka belts, and he says he likes belts, is in fighting Devin Haney. So in his opinion, he really wants both those fights, but it really just depends on what he wants more. Does he want the money first or the belts? If he feels he has more time to make money, he's going to pursue Devin. If he thinks he needs to get the money now and then pursue Devin later, then you're going to see him in the ring with Gervonta Davis sooner. So hopefully you guys saw the interview on The Breakfast Club. It's on YouTube right now. It's about 20 minutes. It's a good listen. It's a really good interview, short and to the point. I appreciate the way he is very open and candid. And it's a really good inside look at a young boxer and where he's going to take his career next. So this has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Don't forget to smash that like button. Until the next time, we're out. Peace.